All right, some breaking news coming in. After much deliberation, Cricket Australia has finally decided to postpone the first test between India and Australia. The match that was scheduled for the 4th of December in Brisbane will now be rescheduled and played on a later date. The details surrounding the future of the test are yet to be determined. Meanwhile, Cricket Australia CEO James Sutherland said that considering the extraordinary circumstances, the players could not be expected to play. Meanwhile, the funeral for Phillip Hughes will be held on the 3rd of December in his hometown of Macksville. Vikrant Gupta now joining me over the phone line. Vikrant, this is something that was, more or less anticipated, that this match will be put off.
You're right. The Australian cricketers not in the right frame of mind, Sana, and the Indians as well have been very accommodating. When you go to Australia, normally you look at match practice. That is how you acclimatize yourself. But the Indians were kind enough, considerate enough in letting Cricket Australia cancel that game. I would assume now that Brisbane will not be the first test match. The schedule will come later. But my guess is that Adelaide will now be the first test match, which will start on the 12th. And this test match, the Brisbane test match, will be sandwiched between the Adelaide and the Melbourne test match. Remember, Boxing Day is normally reserved for Melbourne, which means that the test match is scheduled to start on the 26th. So Adelaide will start on the 12th, finish off on 16th, and in between, I think we'll have the second test match in Brisbane.
Right. Vikrant, that's very interesting. Why do you say this change in the schedule in terms of the venue as well?
Adelaide is supposed to host the second test match. Look at the itinerary. Okay. Brisbane is the first test match, then Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney. And that's the way Cricket Australia has planned it. That's the way the broadcasters have planned it. That's the way the ticketing has been happening. Either they start off in Brisbane, maybe put off the test match by a couple of days. But if that was to happen, they would have announced date today. Remember, the cremation, the funeral is going to happen on Wednesday, which is the 3rd. So practically impossible for the cricketers to play the test match on the 4th. If you're looking at round, say, 6th, then the second test match becomes a problem. So I would anticipate that in between the second and the third test match, the original second and the third test match, they will play in Brisbane. Okay. Adelaide starts on the 12th, finishes off on the 16th, and before Melbourne starts on the 26th, you will have the Brisbane test match.
All right, Vikrant. So it's now official that that first test will now be rescheduled, and of course the final dates are not out yet, but one thing's for sure, that that match will not be played on the 4th of this month. Thanks so much, Vikrant, for joining us with the latest.